What's up, everybody? My name is OMG WTF LOL FTW BRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2002, booking the invasion angle, and we're on the road to WrestleMania. And we're near and closer. We're inching our way to WrestleMania. Almost there. Almost there. It's a long build, but it's worth it. I mean, it's WCW versus WWF. We're going to take all the time we can to build up to WrestleMania. And we are. It's going to be the 4th week, so pretty much next week. Next week is WrestleMania week. And I think I kind of want to plan something for WrestleMania week once we get to it. Before we start this off, I kind of want to make it like a special week like WWE does in real life. Like, of course, we'll still do, Monday Night Raw on a Monday. I will try to make sure that these are the exact dates, because I want to make it like Monday up to Sunday, building up till WrestleMania. So, like, Monday, we'll do Raw, of course. Tuesday, not exactly sure what. Same thing goes with Wednesday. Not sure what we'll do then. Thursday will be Nitro. Friday, Saturday, again, not really sure what. Saturday, we'll probably do a random little video of, like, the Hall of Fame induction or whatever, and I'll try to make something special out of it. That way it's not just boring with me being like, okay, this is who we're inducting and we're good. Maybe I'll have you guys vote on that. And then, of course, Sunday being the WrestleMania show, and possibly the Sunday Night Heat Super Show, if I can figure out how to do that. I'm going to have to do that during here. But nonetheless, that is for a different time. But I would like to make the week of WrestleMania kind of a special week. So after Nitro, or I guess Sunday Night Heat, that is technically the last show. After Sunday Night Heat, I'm going to be knocking them out of the park. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to have to get them done. Be on par there. So I think I've got a good feel right now, though, with the whole job situation and whatnot. So I think right now I've got an idea of how the scheduling is going to work. Nonetheless, we go ahead and open up our pre-show match to start off the night. As, of course, since we are building up to WrestleMania, I think it is time some of our developmental talent gets a good look at, so maybe we can call some up after the WrestleMania show. So, giving a look at Joe E. Legend. Joe E. Legend was a guy that one of you guys were actually requesting me to hire, so I went ahead and did it, because why the hell not? And then Colt Cabana of the CM Punk fame, or Scotty Goldman fame, if any of you guys remember that. So went ahead and tried these two out. Lance Storm and Edge didn't get on the card. In fact, I don't think I wanted them on this card. I think I'm saving them from Nitro this week. But nonetheless, they didn't get on the card, so I figured we'll just go ahead and put them on this match here and try out a couple of developmental talents. Of course, Joey Legend, the only male Canadian, which is why he got the call up. It's probably a little rather early for Joey Legend right now. In fact, you can tell by his 15 in-ring performance that he's going to need a little bit of seasoning probably. But he was the only Canadian male, so that's why I went with him. And I feel like Edge and Colt would have like similar personalities, being both kind of jokers. So that was my reasoning out there. Of course, Edge and Lance look good. I mean, they should. They're the two WWF/WCW stars. Joey Legend, as previously mentioned, was a 15 in-ring performance. As you can tell right here, he was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else's in-ring performance. Lance Storm with an in-ring performance of a 78. Colt Cabana with a 31. And Edge with an 86. So Cabana could probably afford a little bit more time down in developmental. But nonetheless, match, I don't even think I told you guys how it was ending. Pre-show bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat. Edge and Colt Cabana going over Lance Storm and Joey Legend in 10 minutes and a second. After Edge goes over Legend with a spear following a turn by Lance Storm. So I'd imagine Lance Storm probably like, you know what, I don't need this, I'm out of here. Takes both the United States, because remember, he did steal the United States Championship last week from Edge. So he takes both the U.S. and the Canadian Championship and walks out before Edge can, get a chance that he can, even get the U.S. title back here. And Joey Legend suffering from it as he gets a little bit distracted because of Lance Storm's departure, turns around and eats the spear. Edge and Colt Cabana go over here tonight. So we move on to the main show of Monday Night Raw, and we open up with a 99 A-star rating. Monday Night Raw opens up with JR and the King talking about the events that took place last week. Of course, the Undertaker and McMahon situation, where McMahon pretty much told Taker, I agree with Sting. I need the old Undertaker the NWO beatdown on Triple H and Rock, which is pretty much what led to this angle right here, but we'll get to that in just a moment. And even stuff on Nitro from the Austin and Rhino beatdown, courtesy of Sting and Goldberg, which then led to Kane coming out. So all that kind of stuff, just pretty much hyping up what's been going on here before they interrupted by the arrival of Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, the New World Order. An unannounced arrival here from the New World Order as they make their way down to the ring. Their attack from last week does play on the screen, and once in the ring, all three take the mic. Scott Hall talks first and goes, "Hey, yo." Classic Scott Hall, of course. That's when Kevin Nash takes the mic and he goes, "You know, I'd say it feels good to be home, but I won't know how I feel until the check clears. Am I right, Hulk?" But that's when the camera zooms in on Hulk Hogan's face. We hear the crowd, they're all chanting, "Hogan, Hogan," you know, despite, of course, who he's with, despite Hogan being a heel. We haven't seen Hogan on TV. This kind of mirrors what really happened in real life, so that's why I kind of implemented it here, because it makes a little sense. This is probably how the crowd would have reacted. So the crowd are overjoyed to see Hogan, despite the fact, you know, that he's in the NWO, despite the fact that he's supposed to be a heel. We haven't seen Hogan on WWF TV in a long time, so they're overjoyed. And Hogan's kind of, you know, you can see he's kind of feeling it. And that prompts Kevin Nash to go, "You all good, Hulk?" And then Hogan finally snaps at him. He goes, "Yeah, man, you know, I was just thinking of all the times I've stood in a WWF ring. It's funny, it feels like it was just a week ago. I was standing in this ring. Oh, wait. I was standing in this ring a week ago. And you were there? And you were there." Golly, this Hogan voice is gonna kill me. I'm already regretting it. "And we were putting the beat down on Triple H and The Rock, man. The memories. But in all seriousness, brother, the NWO are here, and while we've had our issues with the WCW in the past, dude, there's one person who ranks above the WCW when it comes to who we hate more, and that's Vincent Kennedy McMahon." Good God, that voice is gonna kill me. I should have brought a drink in. Kevin Ashton responds, "Which is why after sitting down with Shane McMahon, having a long talk that involved a lot of zeros, we agreed to join the war and bury the hatchet with WCW, let bygones be bygones, and take out the kingpin." And then that's when Triple H's music hits. "It's my time, and out comes the game. He's probably going by, "I am the game," and you know, probably by that by now. And Kevin Nash, of course. Kevin Nash is good friends with Triple H, as is Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash acts like nothing's happened despite beating him down last week. And he goes, "What's up, buddy? We didn't expect you to be here. Look, sorry about last week. It wasn't personal. It's just business, and you know how it is." And then Triple H takes the mic and he goes, "Yeah, I know exactly how it is, buddy." Hall then responds, "So we're all good then, right?" No, we're not all good, Scott. You two and your grandpa attacked my father-in-law. You put my wife in tears, and then you beat me down and spray paint NWO on my back? No, we're far from good." Oh boy, here we go. Ready, guys? Oh boy, this is... Okay, ready? Here we go. Let's do this. "Yeah, and what you gotta do, Hunter?" Oh my goodness. "Because the way I see it, there's 3 of us and only 1 of you, dude." And then that's when "If You Smell the Rock's" music plays, and out comes the People's Champion. And he goes, No, wait a minute, Hulk. I know you forgot your glasses, but don't you forget to count the Rock. Because the Great One may not even the odds, and hell, this big-nosed baboon may not even want me as an ally, but last week Triple H wasn't the only one with spray paint on his back. This is the Rock's program, and you're standing in the Rock's ring. You want a war? Then let's go to war." That's when Kevin Nash steps up and he goes, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen, Rock. Because you see, we don't work on free TV. If you want us, it'll have to be at Mania. But you know, last I checked, you already have an opponent, don't you?" Triple H quick to respond, You know, I'm free mania, and I've got plenty of time on my hands, but I'm not waiting until WrestleMania. Whether it's a sanctioned fight or not, I'm kicking all three of your asses tonight. Scott Hall finally comes in to, calm the situation down. He goes, all right, calm down, Chico. You want a match? You've got a match. What do you say, big man? Let's teach old Blue Blood a lesson here. And then Nash just kind of looks at him, shrugs his shoulder, and he goes, all right, fine, let's do it. And then Hall, once again, responds, there you have it. Be careful for what you wish for, though. Because tonight in the main event, of course, we may have been gone for a while, but it's about time we put y'all back in your place. Oh, getting a little ahead of ourselves here. So that kind of ends off the promo there. As we get just kind of hype up JR and King. Did you hear that? NWO are going to be in action tonight. First time on Raw in how many years? Who God knows how long. Hall and Nash are going to be in tag team action. The Outsiders teaming up to take on Triple H and The Rock. So pretty much ending the segment there as we hype up that we will see that later on tonight. But before we move on, backstage we find out that Val Venus organized the poker tournament. Helped out our morale, even though I'm pretty sure we're good with morale right now. And then of course the Undertaker. I got hiccups right now, excuse me. That Hogan voice probably gave them to me. Undertaker passing along psychology to Mark Jindrak. So I should go ahead and delete this real quick because fucking hiccups. There's no point in having this or the backstage now, because Vince McMahon should be changing a gimmick here tonight. But anyway, so that starts off the night here, talking about our main event. Hall, Nash in action for the first time in who knows how long, as they'll be taking on Triple H and Rock. Throwing a little bit of a dash at Triple H because they're French, calling him an old blue blood because, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, stuff like that. Mentioning that, let's teach them, put you guys back in your place, because when they left, these guys were kind of just like two up-and-coming talents, but whatever. Anyway, Kevin Nash getting better at his gimmick. Fucking A, I always forget to take Stephanie McMahon off of Triple H. I always forget to do it. In fact, let's make a note of that real quick, because I always forget to do it. Take Steph off. Shit, by the time we get to WrestleMania, when she's probably going to return, hell, she might even return next week. I haven't really decided when I want her to return. But, oh my god, I keep forgetting to do that. I mean, it helps, but still. What's this? Triple H, of course, enjoying going off script. I believe it was Hogan who wanted to go off script. I could be wrong. Rock, to my surprise, very poor when trying to improvise dialogue. Rock having an off night here tonight. Jerry Lawler pretty weak at the table, which is unfortunate, but did get the show off to a strong start. Crowd was hot. Hulk Hogan came across well. Triple H looked good. Rock was still good, apparently. Gained heat for the feud. Good stuff all around. We then go to a 71 B- backstage before the commercial break. Trish and Albert, they're just talking, chit-chatting, whatever you want to say. And that's when Test approaches them quickly. He almost seems like he's out of breath because he approaches them. He's like, Trish, did you hear the good news? No, what's up? Well, last week you were right. I was selfish. I should have let you have your moment, but in the spur of the moment, I stole it and captured my own. But anyway, to make it up to you, I talked to Raven, and I requested another tag match. The only catch is it has to be me instead of Albert this time, since, I've got the Hardcore Championship, kind of what he wants. Trish, overjoyed by the news right now. I mean, she gets her revenge on Daphne, who she's been trying to get, her hands on for a while now. She lunges at Tess, pretty much gives him a hug, and she, Tess probably oversells it like, oh, hell yeah, I'm getting a hug from Trish Stratus. And she's like, that's awesome. After I beat Daphne tonight, I'll prove that I'm more than ready to step up and challenge for the WWF Women's Championship. And that hypes up that we're kind of have a rematch from last week, which instead of Albert being Trish's tag team partner, Tess will be his partner, or her partner this week, since he got involved in last week's tag match by winning the Hardcore Championship by protecting Trish, as we would say. That goes ahead and advances both those storylines there. But before we can get to the tag match, Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley come out to the ring. As the bomb drops, out comes the Dudley boys. They make their way down to the ring. A video plays showcasing, them and Team ECW, of course, a.k.a. Rob Van Dam and Sabu, beating down and putting both the Steiner brothers through tables on Nitro. Once in the ring, Bubba Ray goes to take the mic, and he I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say he calls for something, but that just says cut the music. So anyway, let's just go on with this promo, and Bubba takes the mic and he says, cut the music. And he goes, Washington, D.C., what up? Now, if you didn't watch Nitro, and honestly, who would blame you? But if you didn't watch it, then you missed these damn Dudleys putting those stupid-ass Steiners through some fine wood. Because you see, Scott and Rick thought that they got rid of us. But it's going to take a lot more than a few planks of wood to take these Dudleys out. Hell, Devon and I used to take turn jumping into the damn things when we were younger. But they don't get a lot of time to talk because that's when the sirens go off and holla if you hear me. Because out comes the WWF Tag Team Champions, Scott and Rick Steiner. And Scott goes, shut your fat ass up, you prison bitch. I try not to curse too often because I don't think WWE would like cursing, but you can't put a cork on Scott Steiner, and after a while it's going to happen. So he calls him a prison bitch, obvious play on, the Bubba name. But anyway, Nitro, you were real lucky when your ECW pals were down there as well, because you guys got lucky. Hell, I'll be honest, I'm still feeling a little stiff after Nitro. Let's go ahead and pull up the handy dandy notebook here. So go to our second promo here. Where is it at? Lots of talking here for the first one. Okay, let's move this up real quick. But my brother, Rick, is still pissed, and he's ready for a fight. So which one of you idiots want to get your ass kicked? Bubba takes exception to that, and he goes on to take the mic, and he goes, well, Rick, it's like you always like to say. If you want some, then come get some, you retard. And Bubba just probably tosses the mic down. I don't know if he would actually say retard. Obviously, I didn't write that in there. I don't know how controversial they'd let them get back in the day. But Bubba's pretty much just kind of hinting at Rick kind of being a little bit special here, Not trying to mix anybody or irritate anybody, but hinting that he's retarded. I mean, he wears the head protection thing, and he just kind of mocks him by doing a little bit of a stutter. I know Bubba did a stutter here, but he just kind of is mocking Rick here more. But Bubba's ready for action nonetheless. He wants Rick Steiner. Let's get this match underway. Bubba Ray Dudley worked the crowd well using his improvised, I think Scott wanted to be off mic, so both Bubba and Scott improvising well through the segment. Crowd is hot. Gained some heat for the feud. 90 overall rating for it. Solid A rating. Good stuff all around. As we jump into our opening match of the night. 77. Solid B rating here. Good stuff. Decent matchup here. Bubba Ray Dudley goes over Rick Steiner in 7 minutes and 52 seconds with the powerbomb following botched interference from Scott Steiner. Maybe Rick has him in like a full Nelson or something, or Steiner recliner. I don't know. When Scott goes on to maybe hit Bubba. But instead, Bubba ducks. He hits Rick Steiner. Bubba's able to hit the Bubba bomb, I would imagine, not the power bomb, more like the full Nelson where he lifts him up and pretty much does that. Nonetheless, he does pick up the victory over Rick Steiner, gaining some heat. Well, not gaining some heat, in fact, losing some heat to the feud, but gaining some momentum for him and his brother Devon. So 70 in-ring performance for Bubba Ray Dudley. Rick Steiner's outperforming Bubba to my surprise at least. 76 in-ring performance for Rick Steiner. He's getting up there. 84 B+ as we go backstage. The Rock is getting ready for his upcoming tag team match when Triple H walks in, kind of playing off of what happened last week when Triple H walked in his locker room for it again. Rock goes on to, play off of that, and he goes, here you go again, busting in without a knock, hoping to catch The Rock with his pants down. Triple H, obviously not trying to play into The Rock at all here, just jumps right into it. Shut the hell up, Rock. The hell's your deal? 2 weeks in a row you put your nose in my business. Look, Triple H, The Rock doesn't care about your business. If your business overlaps with The Rock's business, then that's how it goes. While The Rock has his eyes set on Shane McMahon, the NWO still need to be put in their place. And then Triple H kind of taking it back, and he goes, Shane, don't you mean Booker T? Kind of mocking The Rock, because that's kind of the storyline we're telling here. Rock wants Shane, but he's getting Book, and he's not happy about it because he feels he's better than Book. He feels he's already beaten Book, but Book takes exception to that because, well, he's tired of The Rock insulting him all the time. So Rock not going to play into Triple H here, and he goes, you heard what The Rock said, but tonight isn't about Shane McMahon or about Booker T. It's about the NWO. And then Triple H just kind of puts him in his place. Yeah, And you better remember that before, walking off, and Triple H or Rock just kind of looks at him as he walks off like, this fool, whatever. Of course, ignore the Stephanie McMahon thing. She's really not supposed to be there. Triple H came out looking excellent. Rock was fantastic. Good stuff overall. 77, solid B for the tag team matchup here. Decent matchup. Test and Trish go over Raven and Daphne in 7 minutes, 31 seconds after Trish Stratus defeats Daphne with the Stratusfaction. Daphne apparently the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. That's unfortunate. Good God, though, she's up there. She's up there. She is definitely the one to watch. I didn't put the hardcore title on the line here because honestly I was afraid that if I had Trish win, who I wanted to get the pinfall, if I had Trish win, that would involve, her becoming hardcore champion. But hardcore championship technically on the line here. I'd imagine the match ends with Tess running in and hitting a big boot on Raven while Trish Stratus goes for the, after hitting Stratusfaction and pinning Daphne to pick up the victory and getting her a win over the champion, so most likely earning her a championship match. Test getting better at his gimmick. Announcing quality helped the match here. Trish with an in-ring performance of a 63. Tess with a 79, best of the match. Daphne with a 51, the worst of the match. And Raven with a 76. Trish Stratus improving in performance, as is Daphne. Afterwards, we go to a 76 B- as we see a motorcycle pull up to Monday Night Raw. And while we believe it's, the WWF World Champion, because who else rides a motorcycle? We believe it's The Undertaker, but it's not, because as we see the biker take off his helmet, it is revealed that it is indeed the WCW World Champion. It's Sting. Sting is here, and he arrives on a bike, just kind of like what's the word? Maybe mind games, maybe kind of sending a message to The Undertaker or whatever. As we fade off the commercial, Sting is here, and he shows up on a motorcycle. Sting also getting better at his gimmick. Good stuff. So we come back from commercial break. 98 A-star rating here. Back from commercial break, Sting's music goes off, and out comes the WCW World Champion, who makes his way down to a WWF ring. I believe this might be the first time ever. I don't think Sting's been on WWF TV, or at least at a WWF ring yet. I know he was appearing in the rafters before. Nonetheless, his match against The Undertaker is hyped up for WrestleMania. They do the little title screen for it, or whatever you want to call those. Before he gets into the ring, Sting then goes, "Washington, D.C., it's showtime! Woo!" And imagine Washington, woos with him, and he goes, "Here I stand as the WCW World Champion in a WWF ring. Who would have thought the day would come?" Who am I kidding? I always knew this day would come. I always knew that WCW and WWF's war would reach that boiling point, and I always knew it would come down to me defending the company. And I loved it. It may sound selfish, but I spent my whole career over in WCW protecting it from teams like the Four Horsemen, like the Dungeon of Doom, and of course, like the New World Order. It was only natural that I'd be the guy to step up and defend it from Vince McMahon in the WWF. My only question was, who would the WWF's defender be? I thought maybe The Rock, maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I knew deep down inside that it would be the Dead Man, that it would be The Undertaker, that it would come down between you and I. It almost feels like destiny. Let's pull up our handy-dandy notepad for the last time here. So imagine my disappointment when I come over here to find out that I'm not facing The Undertaker, I'm facing the Underbiker. Here I was hoping for the Phenom, instead I get a cheap imitation. Hell, even your boss agrees with you. Or agrees with me. That's why instead of showing your face on Nitro, you sent your brother to do your dirty work. Well, I'm here tonight, Dead Man. So why wait for WrestleMania when we can come face to face right here, right now? And that's when Sting lays the WCW World Championship onto the mat, and he readies himself for the arrival of The Undertaker. But instead of The Undertaker's music playing, it's Vince McMahon's, and out comes the chairman of the WWF as him and Sting meet for the first time. And Sting goes on to say, Well, if it isn't Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I always wondered if this day would come as well. And here we stand face to face in the ring. You know, you're not the devil I wanted, but you're sure as hell the devil I got. So with all that being said, why are you out here, McMahon? And then that's when Vince steps up to say, well, Stinger, for one, it's Mr. McMahon to you. And then Sting cuts him off and goes, no, actually, it's not. Because you're not my boss. And I can call you whatever I want. I'll call you Vince. I'll call you Vinnie Mac. I'll call you Junior. Hell, I'll call you Satan. There isn't a damn thing you can do about it. All right, you want to know why I'm out here, damn it? I'm out here because the dead man isn't. I'm out here because you called out the captain, and the captain's not here, so the general has to step up. Golly, Vince McMahon kills me too sometimes. That's when Sting steps up again. He goes, so the dead man rode his bike out into the sunset. Well, good. Hopefully while he's out there wandering in the desert, he finds his dark side because he's going to need it. But what about tonight? Are you out here to challenge me, McMahon? I'm not going to fight you. But seeing as you're here and you're ready for action, I may not be able to bring out the Undertaker, but I can bring out the man who put you on your back on Nitro. Good God. Why do I let Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan talk so much? The new WWF Intercontinental Champion and one half of the Brothers of Destruction. Since you like to call me the devil, let me properly introduce you to your opponent tonight. The devil's favorite demon, Kane. And then the fire goes off. Out comes the Intercontinental Champion, Kane, and Sting readies himself for action because it's Kane versus Sting, and it's next. Let's get all this stuff out of the way here, now that we're actually done with the notepad. Alright. So before we move on to the match, Sting getting better at his gimmick, gaining heat for the Undertaker feud, and let's go ahead and handle our changes here because Vince McMahon's gimmick was getting stale. He's currently in an authority figure. We're going to change him to a corporate suit. It got a rating of average. His previous gimmick was very good, so it is a downgrade, but who cares? We're Vince McMahon, so it's not like we're going to bitch at ourselves. Kane improving on acting, despite the fact that for him being on the screen for all of like 10 seconds, but whatever. We go into our matchup here, Sting versus Kane. First time ever. 75 B- rating here in a superb match. Kane goes ahead and draws with Sting, ends in a sports entertainment style, and 9 minutes 55 seconds after the match descends into chaos when both Rhino and Stone Cold Steve Austin become involved. Of course, after WCW, when Sting, Kane, and Goldberg all beat down on Rhino and Austin over on Nitro. So the match doesn't have a proper ending. Rhino and Austin getting involved, and of course that'll end in a brawl afterwards, so we'll jump into that in just a moment. Announcing quality, helping the match here, Kane with an in-ring performance of an 88, actually outperforming the WCW World Champion Sting, who only had an 81 in-ring performance. So good stuff there. Does it go ahead and advance the Rhino-Kane storyline. No worker improvements as we jump into our brawl afterwards. Post-match brawl, 89, solid A rating here. The referee continues calling for the bell, but Stone Cold and Rhino ignored as they continue beating down on the WCW and Intercontinental Champions. Rhino and Austin both stomp a mud hole on the Sting as he sits into the corner. That's when Kane, the Intercontinental Champion, sits up, kind of like the Undertaker would. Austin takes notice of it and he turns Rhino's attention towards Kane, and that's when the duo go ahead and start beating down on Kane, eventually throwing him on the outside of the ring, and then turning their attention back towards the WCW Champion Sting. Rhino continues the beatdown on Sting while Austin just kind of gets down. Probably does that, weird thing when he gets down and starts like moving his neck as he's mocking, talking trash to Sting, saying, this is what you get for getting involved in my business. You shouldn't have poked your nose in my business. This is what you get for being friends with Goldberg, stuff like that. Talking his trash, that's when he notices Kane, moving on the outside, slowly getting up on the outside of the ring. He goes ahead and whispers something in Rhino's ear. Rhino smiles big, and the Man Beast slides out of the ring onto the opposite side of Kane. So they're on opposite sides of the ring, and Rhino uses this distance to start building up speed, building up momentum, running towards the Intercontinental Champion. And as soon as he gets them, he connects with a gore, spearing Kane, or I guess goring at Kane, through the barricade, a little barricade area that separates the crowd from the, the ringside, spearing the Intercontinental Champion through the barricade and taking him out pretty much. Austin goes to check on Rhino. He picks him up, and the two of them pretty much retreat up the ramp as Sting and Sting and Kane sell their injuries. Austin, a real star in the segment. Rhino came across well, gained heat for the Rhino-Kane feud. No worker improvements. I guess I didn't put Sting on here. I just realized that. So that was my bad. Sting should have been on here, but whatever. 77, solid B rating here is during the commercial break. This is one of those like, well, this is what happened during the commercial break. Our cameras caught up with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Rhino. So during the commercial break, they caught up with Rhino, and so they're kind of out of breath here when they're talking. And Austin goes, "Yeah, you see that, Goldberg? That was a direct message to you, you bald son of a bitch. And Sting, that's what happens when you poke your nose in other people's business. You get made an example of and used as a message." And then that's when Rhino grabs the mic and he turns it over to him. He's looking straight into the lens, so all you really can see is Rhino's face. And Rhino goes, "Kane, you have what's mine. Tonight was just a taste of what's to come. And until I get my title back, I will find you, and I will take you out with a gore. Gore. Gore." And then I'd imagine Rhino just tosses the camera away. The cameraman probably falls with the camera, and we just kind of see, Rhino and Austin's legs or, feet. Not even really their bodies or anything as they just walk away, leaving the arena. So Rhino and Kane storyline advance. The Goldberg-Austin storyline did lose a little heat here, but that is okay. As we advance to our next segment, main event time. It is the tag team matchup. Solid 80B rating here, and a superb matchup. Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, the NWO, the Outsiders, go over Triple H and The Rock in 13 minutes, 3 seconds after Scott Hall defeats Triple H with the Razor's Edge, following a distraction from The Rock, who was also distracted by Shane McMahon. Kevin Nash, apparently the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else's in-ring performance. So what I'd like to imagine here is it is a tag team match. Triple H is in the ring when Shane McMahon comes out and he starts talking his trash to The Rock. Rock, of course, been wanting to get his hands on Shane McMahon, completely ditches Triple H and runs after Shane McMahon into the back area. Triple H kind of caught off guard, like, where the hell are you going? Turns around, gets kicked in the gut. Razor's Edge, 1, 2, 3. The NWO pick up the victory here, and looking good in the process. Scott Hall getting better at his gimmick, announcing, helping out there. Rock looked good. Rock with an in-ring performance of a 97, the best of the match. Triple H with a 95. Scott Hall with a 76. And Kevin Nash, of course, the worst of the match with a 66. This did go ahead and lose heat for both the Rock and Shane McMahon feud and Triple H and NWO feud. Kevin Nash, though, is improving in performance, so good on him. Great. I knew you were going to be a problem, Scott Hall. Soon became pretty clear that Scott Hall was drunk and wasted on drugs. Oh, Scott Hall, you're going to be the problem child. I knew you were. And I can't suspend you yet, unfortunately. But there will be punishment. Unfortunately, there's also going to be a lot of money going Rock and Triple H's way. Alright, 97 A-star rating here as the NWO pose in the ring while Triple H crawls his way towards them as they're posing. The trio mock the game as Triple H pulls him up by using Hogan's tights. And Hogan eventually just forces Triple H up to his feet. He begins to trash talk Triple H. I don't know what he would pretty much say, but he's just trash talking the game. Triple H then spits at Hulk Hogan, which goes ahead and pisses the Hulkster up, who begins to Hulk up, as they say. And he goes ahead and punches Triple H before bouncing him off the ropes, hits the big boot, and then sets up for the leg drop, planting him down with it, hitting the classic, Hogan moves of doom, or whatever you want to call it. Hogan then tells Hall and Nash to pick Triple H up. They drag Triple H up the ramp. They're, of course, talking trash all their way up the ramp. Once at the top of the entryway, Kevin Nash puts Triple H in the position for the jackknife powerbomb, and he lifts him up to throw him off. And while he does that, Hogan and Hall kind of join in and toss Triple H up, kind of think like the Shield triple powerbomb. They do that, and they help Kevin Nash hit the jackknife powerbomb on the Triple H off the stage, through a bunch of the equipment, through a table. Triple H is just, he's done pretty much. He's wrecked as the NWO stand tall here over the game. Scott Hall getting better at his gimmick. Apparently deserved better announcing. Hulk Hogan looked good. And it's gained some heat back for the Triple H NWO feud. Afterwards, 99 A-Star as we end off the show. JR and King still distraught by what they've just seen. Send us to the back because the camera crew is caught up with The Rock and his chase on Shane McMahon. Rock is searching for Shane McMahon in the back, screaming for Shane. "Oh, Shane, where you at, you punk?" Stuff like that. Shane finally steps out in the hallway, and he has a kendo stick, and he's like, "What are you going to do, Rock?" Rock kind of mocks him, like, "What are you going to do with that kendo stick, boy, or something? You better plan on using it or whatever." Rock just talks trash to Shane, while Shane distracts Rock temporarily for Booker T to attack Rock from behind, jumping the People's Champion, beating him down backstage, throwing him into the wall, throwing him over tables, into catering, all sorts of stuff, talking his trash to The Rock, saying, "You're going to put some respect on my name," stuff like that. He, uses anything he could find backstage, eventually taking the kendo stick from Shane McMahon, repeatedly hitting The Rock with it over and over again. And as The Rock sells on the ground, Booker T bends over and he's like, "You're going to remember my name now, aren't you?" And he tosses the kendo stick down onto The Rock. But before Booker T leaves, he spots a vending machine, which just so conveniently seems to be placed where The Rock's laying. And after pushing and pulling, rocking the vending machine back and forth, Booker T drops the vending machine on top of The Rock, pretty much squashing him in between that and the floor. And him and Shane McMahon kind of mock the People's Champion as they walk away to end off the show while a bunch of paramedics come in to check on The Rock. So WWF kind of receiving a beatdown here tonight. I mean, Austin and Rhino stood tall, I guess, but Triple H getting a beatdown, even though I guess Triple H isn't really a WWF guy. Neither is Austin and Rhino. They're kind of neutral. But Rock getting a beatdown, Undertaker not even showing up. Things aren't looking good for the WWF right now. Apparently both Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler are pretty weak here, so interesting. Rock was a real star. Booker T came across well, gained some heat back for the Rock Shane McMahon storyline, and we end off the show, and what do we get? 91 solid A rating from Monday Night Raw, increasing our popularity in 11 regions. Good stuff all around. Good stuff all around. Can't complain. A lot of stuff going down here on Monday Night Raw, though. The NWO revealing that not only are they on the side of WCW, not only has the hatchet been buried, but their hatred for McMahon outweighs their hatred for WCW. And it doesn't matter if you're even their friend, like Triple H is, you're going to be put in your place. Decisions, awaiting responses. I don't know what that is. Good thing I'm ending off, because it could always be a spoiler. Apparently Kurt Angle is the best overall worker in wrestling today. Good for Kurt. But that is going to go ahead and end off the video. Before we do, I will go ahead and check some emails. We could have some opinions. We don't have any opinions, but we do have a couple of people very annoyed with us, that being Triple H and The Rock. So we're going to have to give them a big bonus if they're pissed. Rey Mysterio has also returned to the company, so good stuff there. Shannon Ballard. Is he under contract with us? He is not, but Shannon Ballard. He's part of the Ballard brothers. I met these guys in Canada, actually, now that I think about it. Him and Shane. But they relocated to Canada. Interesting. And William Regal has now chosen to relocate to the Mid-Atlantic. But no opinions on anything. So that is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your friends, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. I don't give a damn. All the social media accounts out there. If you feel you got a buddy who would enjoy my content, give them a share. Help your boy out, get some new subscribers up in this bitch. It's always appreciated. And as always, I've got my friends down below in the description you can check out. I highly recommend checking out ZachManziNVO over on Twitch and Raging Yoshi here on YouTube. Two very active people on the scene right now that are good friends of mine. Give them a check out. And as always, let's give a little bit of a shout out to some Total Extreme Wrestling guys. 370 Gaming making his return to YouTube with an EWR, very classic retro, not retro I guess, but I believe it's like the first Total Extreme Wrestling game. Like, I don't know if it's a part of the Total Extreme Wrestling franchise, but it's like EWR, Extreme Wrestling Warfare. I never played the game, but I'd highly recommend checking it out. There's a lot more there. It kind of makes me want to play because you got to deal with, it tells you who are your top draws, all sorts of stuff. So a lot of stuff over there. So go ahead and check that out, and who knows, maybe I'll have to invest in something like that. Oh, this is the incident involving Scott Hall. That's right. Right now, we're just gonna fine him. And look, it improved his behavior. He's happy. So it works for me. We're just going to fine him for now. He's unhappy that he got fined for the second time though. And look, everybody else is pissed because we did that. So yeah. Everyone's mad. Nonetheless, though, that is going to be the end of this video. I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.